Welcome friends, let's put together the calendar, the desk calendar and Post-it note holder. So from your class kit, you should have your like a card base. Basically we're going to make a card, but it's just going to have a little calendar and Post-it note with it so it can sit on your at-home desk. I think a lot of us are still working from home. So you have your card base. You have two pieces of, this is Pacific Point cardstock, a piece of designer series paper. You'll have your calendar and your Post-it note, and another piece of basic white cardstock. So this is basically a design, a fun fold you could use for cards. It's called an Easel card, and I'm just happening to make it a little cute thing for your at-home desk with the Post-it notes and the calendar. So, but you can do this for cards, and I'll show you how you just adjust for something on the inside. So what you want to do is, this is your standard. This one happens to be 4 1/4 by 11. So sometimes we cut our cards 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 to get a folded 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. This one happens to be the long version, which is instead 11 by 4 1/4, and then we fold it in half and we still get the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to first fold it in half. You can score it at 5 1/2 if that's easier for you, or fold it in half. And I always like to get a really nice crease by using a bone folder, or you could use something else. I mean, even the edge of an acrylic block if you don't have a bone folder. Then we need to fold the front of the card also in half. This is what is going to create your easel. So if you have a scoring tool, either a scoreboard or the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer that has a scoring blade in it, you would score it at 2 3/4 from the edge. So 2 3/4 in, which is halfway between for a 5 1/2 inch side. So 2 3/4. If you don't have those tools, you can just fold it in half like so. Okay, so you can just fold it in half like so, get a nice crease, and then just fold it back the other way. Okay, because we actually want what is called a mountain fold on the front of the card. Okay, so that's the folding that's required. We can set that aside for now. And let's go ahead and put the front panel together. So we're going to build the whole front panel, and then I'm going to show you how to attach it to the front of this easel card. So you can go ahead and just put your basic white cardstock, attach it to your Pacific Point cardstock. Put a little more piece right there. And I made a 1/4 of an inch border all the way around this, so it's a little bigger than I normally do. Usually I have an 1/8 of an inch. So just try and get those borders as equal as you can all the way around. Then we're going to take your little calendar, and you can tear off your January and February, since we're already partway through the year, but I still thought this was a really cute project. So I had these calendars. I thought, why don't we use them, because I still think it's cute. So we're going to go ahead and attach it to a piece of the Pacific Point, just to give it a little extra. We could have attached it right to the front of this easel, but I thought, let's give it a little bit more color and have it really pop. All right, so just again, as best you can, line that up on this piece, and then we're going to go ahead and glue it to the back. Hopefully you have a strong adhesive, because this might have a little bit of wear and tear as the year goes on. And then see how I'm just trying to get these 3 edges equal as I can, just from eyeballing it. Okay, and place that down. Then this pattern paper is it's just a decorative piece we're going to put on the top. If, you know, because this is a class by mail and we don't have any stamps for this set. This is paper that was in this celebration that finished on February 28th. So we're just going to go ahead and attach this. And what I'm trying to do is keep an equal border at the top and in this little space here, an equal border of the basic white. And this pattern paper should go all the way from one side to the next. So just give that, there we go, just like that. And if it's a little bit long, if you need to trim any off the side, you can do that. Right now I think I've got a little bit. I should probably have my glasses on to do this. I'll just go ahead, and I think I had just a tiny little sliver of paper hanging over the edge. So that is the front of our, what could be a card, but in this case we're making this a little desk calendar. So if you're making an easel card and you've decorated the front, the only trick is that you only want to adhere it to this bottom panel. Okay, because if you put it across the whole top, then you're not going to be able to fold the front and make an easel. So I know that my border is just 1/8 of an inch all the way around based on how I cut it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on this front panel just to make sure I don't get any, if I did the back of this, I wouldn't want it to go too high and go over top of where this crease is. So I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on here, not right to the edge because my piece won't go all the way to the edge. So I'm just keeping it just inside that edge as best I can. That should be good and strong. And you could put more if you want. And now I'm going to just line this up with those borders being equal around those 3 sides. Okay, and just press that down. Now what'll happen is, because we didn't adhere it down here, it can actually fold up and this becomes your easel. And we're going to have a Post-it note pack right here so that it's a really cute little desk set that you can have if you're in an office, or if you're at home. It's always nice to have it next to a phone or wherever you have your computer. So that's the front. And again, you could do this with a card design where you design the front of the card, and then what you do is you maybe do a sentiment piece or something like this and you pop it up. So you put some of the dimensionals or foam squares underneath the piece so that it sits up high enough that this lip can kind of catch and hang behind it. And then it just sits up straight like that. So let's go ahead and attach our Post-it note. You can just rip this backing off and attach it if there's a backing on yours, or you can just go ahead and glue this whole backing, or the back piece of your Post-it note stack, whether there's a backing or whether it's just one of these pieces. And I'm gonna try and keep it kind of close to the front because we don't want our easel to be way back. So I'm gonna keep it, I'm not worried about borders here, I'm just keeping it close to the front, maybe between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch at the front, and just placing that down. I don't have mine quite straight, but that's okay, it's pretty close. And just put that down so it's nice and sturdy on there, and now this will hold behind just like that. So that's how your little desk calendar and Post-it note pad will work. And I think that's really cute, having your calendar in front of you and little Post-it notes that you can pull off. So again, if this was a card, you could just have, and it doesn't have to be back this far, you could have a piece right here anywhere, and then this front will just catch in it. The most important thing is making sure you don't glue the top part down to the top part of the card so that you can still get that bend and catch it on your piece on the base inside of your card. And then of course your card will, now this is a bit thick because of the Post-it note pad, but it still folds flat for mailing. So I think that's a really neat thing about the Easel card. So very simple, very easy to do. You could, you know, decorate it more with stamps, or maybe you might want to have a quote, a favorite quote that you put, print off your computer and put across the top. That would be really, really neat too. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.